gods of the world! What ails my mind? Must be a hanger. My head aches.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear us?
What ails my mind? Must be a hanger.
Is this working? I think it is. Well, welcome to this first attempt here at Access the Animus for a live stream of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So, hello Tia. So here we are. My name is Marco, and I'm one of the admins here at Access the Animus. And I am joined here by Sary, who is playing. We're gonna play for like an hour or so. Valhalla. We're gonna discuss a bit the game, our first impressions, and our opinions, and also, oh wow, that guy looks pretty nice with an axe on his head. So yeah, we can also answer your questions, whatever you would like to ask us. So we're gonna this is going to be a non-spoiler stream, so we're not gonna delve into any spoiler territory. So we would ask you as well, please don't spoil anything for your fellow friends and fans in the comments. So, oh, a lot of people are here already. Hello, guys. So yes. Oh, so it's. I haven't played this one, so I thought it was a tiny bug. It's actually part of the quest. Okay, nice. So yeah. Welcome to the stream, everyone. For those of you who might have who are waiting for Valhalla, we can discuss it a bit. We have tried, like, at this time we are 15 to 20 hours into the game. So now we are in England. As you might know, there's a Norway session at the beginning of the game. There's a Norway map who is pretty much self-contained, but within it you can basically try almost all the side activities. It's like a testing ground to a degree. So it's like a huge tutorial / training ground, and it's very beautiful. Maybe later we can also travel to Norway to showcase it a bit. So we have questions already by Tia. Do we know if we can have more than one Jumps Viking for our raiding party? I don't know directly. I know surely we can have one. I have seen that some other friends that have played, I can see you can recruit more than one. I don't know if you can take more than one in the raids. But at the same time, you can also have characters that you can find within the story that can join you in your crew. So you will not have necessarily only like the Jones Viking and the crew, like the standard blue dressing NPCs. And yes, Youssef, this is the full game. We are streaming on PS4, so that's not the top-notch quality of next gen, but we're trying our best at the same time. Really, I'm not sure you can disable the blue and red highlight, because that's both part of the narrative and not only the gameplay, because that's like a sort of like a legacy element of the franchise, comes from the original Assassin's Creed game. So yeah, we can start discussing a bit our first impressions, unless you guys have other questions, and we can still answer them while if you write them down. Yes, Catalin, we are on PS4. So first impressions. I do think I'm not sure if I represent the entire team here at Access the Animus, but at least for my personal experience, I do hope and think that this is a game that can sort of like try and solve the separation and disconnection that has been there for the within the Assassin's Creed community. And in general, I think that the game has something for every kind of player. So there is what you would expect from the recent games. So like a huge focus on combat. Hello, Claudio. But there is also a better focus on stealth for sure. Not only with the return of the Hidden Blade, but there's a lot of skills and abilities dedicated to stealth. So you can also you're not just trying to be stealthy, but you can also create distractions. You can have chain assassinations. They are more quote-unquote grounded and not like let's say more on the fantasy side as it was in Origins. And there's also a huge focus on story, as you would expect from an AC game. But there's also, within the story, there's a very interesting focus on the traditional AC elements. So you can have, like, you can expect lore dedicated to the Hidden Ones and the Order of the Ancients, which are the original versions of the Assassins and Templars. And we kind of discussed this in our interview with Darby McDevitt. It's not just confined to the narrative that is that can be found while building the Hidden Ones Bureau in the settlement, but there's also assassiny elements throughout the game and the story. So there are also narrative arcs that contain story elements tied to the Order of the Ancients and the Hidden Ones. And along with that, we also have the characters of Basim and Hytham, and you can find them both within the world and within the story. So there is for sure a huge part of the story dedicated to the Viking context for sure, and the Viking side to Eivor. But at the same time, there's also a lot of stuff for the hardcore fan and the longtime fans. Let's see some of the questions. Dante is asking, will there be an ability for infinite stamina? I'm not sure, because like we have had an early access to the game, but we haven't finished it yet. I wouldn't expect infinite stamina to be there, but don't quote me on that. Olavi is asking, will romance options affect the game's story? Main story, potentially. We haven't seen the entire story yet. There might be. There's a lot of side romance that you can have that will not affect the story. But I'm pretty sure that there's like Odyssey already had some romance options within the main story, so there might be some. Not sure how that will affect the story. It's your boy Keaton asks if there's a Master Assassin outfit. I think that's sort of like, oh, Sary died by this huge guy. She is laughing. I wouldn't laugh if I were hit like that by an enemy, but still. So I think there is a hidden one outfit that you can find within the old and ruined hidden ones Roman bureaus that you can find in the game. There's going to be 6 of them that you can find within England, and each of them will have, at least from what we tested, like each of them will have a piece of the hidden ones outfit. Not sure if that's called, that will also act as a Master Assassin kind of outfit, but sort of. Can you show how the Pathfinder exploration mode works? I think that can be toggled in the options. That's asked by Rayleigh. I'm not sure if you can find that. Let me see if we can. I don't want to risk showing you like menus that have spoilers though. I'm gonna try and describe it more like. I think that the Pathfinder exploration mode is similar to Odyssey in that the game will provide more toggles, more information for you to find what you are interested in, or like what your quest is requesting you to do. And it's interesting because at the beginning of the game, you're not just prompted to select a difficulty level, a general difficulty level, but there's like 3 settings of difficulty. They are dedicated to exploration, stealth, and combat. So you can have like, you can decide to have like an easy kind of combat that you can, combat sequences that you can have, while selecting like Master Assassin for the stealth sessions. I am trying. I think we here have like normal for combat and Master Assassin for stealth. So the detection range for the guards is improved. So it's easier for you to be spotted. So you have to be very careful. And there's also a setting for the exploration, so you can decide to have a minimum amount of information while exploring, or to have many more, tools to know where you have to go. And in this game, it's not going to be, it's not going to go only through your Raven as it was in Odyssey. You're going to have your Raven to find the general area where you might have to go in some of the quests. But in this case, as I was telling Sary earlier today, Odin's Sight, which is the Valhalla's version of Eagle Vision, is your friend much more, in that when you are in the area where you have to do stuff, Odin's Sight will tell you or will highlight the stuff that you can interact with. So there's also that. What else? We have a question by Ikraik. Can we explore the entire map before touching the settlement quests, or will that affect the main story? I think that it's not even me thinking that. Like, Sary has been doing that in her in her game, which is not the one that you're showing here, that we're showing here. But yes, you can explore the area, the entire map of Norway, and also the entire map of England, if you'd like, without necessarily building your settlement, or like you have to to do the first settlement mission to settle you down, literally. And then you can just go your way in England. This game will not have levels, so areas will not be level gated in terms of access, but there is still a stat called power level or global power level, and in this case we can the power level, as you can see on the map now, there are areas that have a suggested power level. As you can see in Lincolnshire, there's 160. So you can access the areas for sure. You can sneak in if you're very good at that. You can find the items, like the equipment, and in this case the equipment don't require a level or a power level, so you can go in the hardest area, get your item and wear it immediately. But the kind of challenge that you have in these areas will be much tougher. So if you get to fight with enemies in that area, it will be very, very difficult for you to succeed. So there's no level gating in here, but still some of the challenges that are tied to progression are... Oh yes, we have something interesting in the background. We'll try. We'll not spoil it. Okay, so in the background now you can see a prompt to the animus anomalies. We're not gonna show the activity itself, but that's an activity that is tied to the modern day. This activity, as we have mentioned in some of our videos, will have you, like, you can access them as Eivor, and Eivor will turn into Layla, and she will have to do a parkour slash puzzle kind of challenge, and that will bring you some very interesting lore details, especially for the hardcore fans. But I'm sure that even if you're a new fan, once you get all of them, you're gonna have more information that added to the present day sessions will give you more context as to what is happening. But we'll leave it at that. We have more questions. Wow, there's a lot of you. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream if you're joining us now. Will Edward's legacy outfit be added post-launch? We don't know yet. We know for sure both from the Ubisoft Connect challenges and rewards, and also from a video by IGN, that there's going to be an Altair, a Bayek outfit, and I think an Ezio outfit from Brotherhood. We're not sure about the other legacy outfits yet. Maybe some are within the game already, and you don't even have to unlock them. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. What else? There's a question: is Basim a Templar? We don't know, and even if we knew, surely we wouldn't say that publicly. What else? Will there be more hair options in the game, like a bowl cut or a ponytail? By Dante. I'm not sure about these specific ones, but there's going to be a lot of customization options, both for your hair and head, but also for the tattoos. There's going to be a lot of tattoos, and you can customize your hair appearance, but also the color. And there's a lot of colors in there. You can go from the original blonde hair, but also you can go. I think we're wearing red at the moment, or like dark brown. There's also black or like very dark brown. There's light brown as well. I'm not sure if there's more exotic kind of colors like pink or green. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a lot of customization, and there's a lot of customization for the tattoos as well, both for your face and your body and your arms, your torso as well, and your back. So a lot of them, and once you get to the first store in the game, you will see how many are there, and they are, well, at least at the beginning, they are pretty expensive compared to what you earn, but that also means that you will have to work pretty hard to get all of them, and if you are a completionist like us, you will do that. Like we will do that for sure. And speaking of customization, there's also going to be a lot of customization for the settlement itself. So you will be able to customize specific elements of the settlement, like there's like some specific. I think we have shown it even earlier. There's you can place statues in there. You can place archery targets. You can place Roman artifacts. Well, not artifacts, but like statues as well. And you can customize the huge tree that is at the center of the settlement as well. What else? Is the confession... Oh, Keaton is asking, is the confession hall back? Yes, there's going to be a lot of confession kill rooms or memory corridor confessions. Some will be very short because they are tied... well, all of this is tied to the Order of the Ancients assassination quest that you will embark on. Like some of the minor targets, there's like enforcers called the Zealots that are roaming the world and will hunt you. Like those are minor targets, and they will have minor but still interesting kind of confession kill rooms. And then the leaders of the Order of the Ancients in England will have surely more interesting confession kill rooms. Like we have experienced one within the Norway map. We're not gonna get into that, but that was very much like much more developed than the one that you can find while killing the Zealots. And that was not even like one of the higher ranking ancients in the game, so you can even expect even more interesting confession kill rooms in the game. What else? Keaton, a lot of questions by Keaton. I think there was a question like if the rope dart is back. The rope dart is not back, as far as we know. There's something similar that is called the harpoon, which you cannot activate at any time in the game, but there is an ability called harpoon attack or something like that, that basically you throw... Are you attacking your own horse? Yes.
There was a viper.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, so there's like a harpoon that you can throw to any kind of enemy, and when you hit your enemy, you can direct where you want to throw him after you hit him with the harpoon. So you can throw it on a side towards a wall, or you can throw it towards yourself as well. And based on that, you can, you know, improve your strategy and your combat situation as well. What else? Can you block melee attacks? Corbin is asking. Yes, of course. As you can see now, you can block enemy attacks, and if you, let's say, deplete their stamina bar, because they have their own as well, you can also trigger a stun attack, as you saw Sary showed right now. And these stun attacks are something that we really love. I do specifically, and Sary, who usually plays sort of like this defensive kind of combat phases. Like she uses like the shields a lot, and then she can trigger these counters slash stun attacks that are very nice in also in terms of like cinematography, let's call it like that. So that's pretty interesting. What else? Is like Rayleigh is asking, is ambience? I'm trying to follow your questions. I'm falling behind because there's so many. So Rayleigh is asking, is there any ambience music? Is a bit frequent now than Origins and Odyssey? I would say yes. It's not always there, but especially when you are alone, there's more than Origins for sure. I would say probably more than Odyssey as well. And it's very nice in that, like, especially when you are alone, when the ambience music, which is very, very nice in itself, when it triggers, you really feel involved with and immersed within the world. And especially this time, as the soundtrack has been was composed by Jesper Kidd and Sarah Schachner, along with Einar Selvik. Every single track in the game feels amazing. Oh, that was risky. That was risky. Yeah, that was too risky. Yes, the soundtrack in every situation really looks appropriate, and like some of the tracks also remind you of tracks from the older AC games, and not just the very early ones, but also like there's a track when you are I think around in the Kingdom of Mercia in general that reminds of the Boston track from AC3 as well. Like there's a lot of elements that the game pushes towards you that remind of the older AC games. So if you are a new fan, the quality of the game will surprise you, I would say. And if you are an older fan, I think there's a lot for you as well. From the tiny little nods to the more substantial story elements, but also gameplay elements. Like the stealth here is improved compared to the more recent games, for sure. What is your preferred weapon type so far?
The bow.
Sary, what is your...
The bow.
The bow. I don't think that's the kind of answer that you were expecting. but Sary is very good with a bow, and I think that especially here in Valhalla, the enemies are less of a they're not bullet sponges as they were in Odyssey. So when you try to it's more meaningful and effective to follow the hunter path in the skill set in the skill tree, and in general all branches of the skill tree are effective while playing. So it's kind of interesting in there, and for me, I would say that my favorite weapon right now is the dagger. I don't know if the weapon is overpowered in the game. It deals a lot of damage, but at the same time you have to be very close to your opponent. So it's sort of like a trade-off, a proper trade-off in a way. So shield plus dagger is my way to go for now, at least. What else? In general, Roman is asking if the game is worthy. I would say yes, the game is worth playing, and not just trying, but also it is worth investing your time into it. because as it has been for the Assassin's Creed games in the last 3 to 4 years, the prologue, the introduction to the game is not like half an hour or 1 hour long. It's I would say 4 to 8 hours long. So before you reach England, and so before you reach the settlement system and all of that, you have to play a bit. So I think it's worth playing for quite a number of hours to get into all the systems and see how enjoyable they are. And also, if you are a story fan, it requires you some time to see the story develop, because obviously the first hours are there to introduce you to Eivor and his story and his or her story, and also to introduce all the characters and especially the characters that will follow you within England, because without spoiling too much, like the Norway section of the game will introduce you to the Raven clan, to the clan that Eivor is part of. So Eivor will not go to England alone. She or he will be followed to England. So you will start knowing all these characters, and they will follow you to England. So it's sort of like you develop sort of this feeling of community or family, depending on how you perceive this, and it's really interesting to see this develop within the game. Also because it's not just like you don't interact with this character only within the main story and the cutscenes or like the main quests, but when you are in the settlement and even in Norway, you can interact with them even just with like small dialogues within the game world without entering cutscenes or anything. So you get this feeling of, you know, all these people that know each other and they have sort of like a common goal, but sometimes their opinions differ between themselves. So it's kind of interesting. Like these characters, they don't seem to be, one-sided. They don't seem to have just one facet to their character, but they are multifaceted. And when they get to collide with each other, it's very interesting to see how they react and interact. What else? Yes, Nicholas, like I mentioned it earlier, there are little weapons like a knife or dagger. There are daggers. And then, hidden blade, but it's not necessarily a weapon for combat. Even though if you use the unarmed, if you unarm your left hand, like your main, I think it's the main hand. No, it's the side hand. You can do a charge attack with a hidden blade. So that's sort of like a secret that the developers left within the game. But people found out about that very much early during the campaign. What else? Oh my god, a lot of questions. Any bugs encountered so far? Is asking Ivy. Yes, quite a number of them. Not surprised too much by that. We are it's the release date of we're very close to release day of the game, and this was also like an early access version, so we have found some, but some have been corrected. There's as we mentioned on our social media, there's going to be a 1.0.2 patch releasing already. Sort of like a day one patch that will fix a lot of issues already. So yes, there are some bugs. It's under some bugs. It's understandable to a degree. We only experienced one crash on PS4, which was okay. You never like crashes, of course, but in 20 hours of gameplay for me, and I think it was 15 hours for Sary as well, one crash is not... It's bearable. We know that other friends and players have experienced more crashes, especially on PC. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be fixed soon enough. I am seeing that it's a bugged stream. Really? Can you see? Is this working? Yeah, are you experiencing any issues with the stream? Apart from, well, we are streaming. We're trying to stream at 1080p at 30 frame per second. Yes, this. Oh, okay, it's fine. Yeah, nice. No, we haven't finished the main story, and yes, this is a spoiler-free kind of stream. This is. Depending on what you consider a spoiler, we might do some world events, which are the, let's call them side quests, although it's pretty improper in this game because they're not official, well, they're not huge side quests as you would for Odyssey. These are side missions that you take, 2 to 5 minutes to complete. So we're gonna do some of these, like the one that Sary highlighted, but that's that in terms of story spoilers. And obviously we're not gonna do any main story. We don't want to ruin this for you guys. What else? How is the parkour? Is asking Banana Zero. That is how we call that's the negative element that we have found in the game for what we have tried, and by that I don't mean just the 20 hours that we played, but also the demos that we have tested both in July and in October. That's very okay. Let's say in the demos that we tried, it was very bad. Like it felt very heavy, clunky, janky, whatever you want to call it. It felt slow, and sometimes another issue in the demo that we tried was that the controls didn't feel responsive enough. In the final version of the game, I would say that parkour has been improved compared to the demo versions that we tried. It feels much lighter than it was in the preview events. I don't know if that's because the animations are a bit faster, or if there was an actual improvement. Because I don't think that in the last few weeks and months there could be any like huge improvement to parkour. But it feels a bit lighter. Don't expect any kind of Unity or Syndicate level of parkour, both in terms of grace and in terms of variety. That is for sure. Let's say that in Valhalla, parkour will be functional as it was in Odyssey and Origins, in that you use it to reach other goals and destinations, but you don't do it for the sake of it. At least in our opinion, like you don't do parkour. what was that? Oh my! Yeah, you don't do that necessarily to have fun with the parkour. Although there are some situations where there are it's not like the game calls them parkour challenges, but you understand that they are. Like there are some synchronization points that you can find that feel a bit like the ones from AC2 and AC Brotherhood, in that you have to find the proper way to the top. And in that regard, considering that the parkour feels a bit lighter but still heavy, it's still heavy. You can, depending on anyone's sensibility and feeling, it can feel fun or at least interesting to do. But the parkour itself still feels not where it should be, I would say. Oh, thank you, SE Videos. Going one place to another does feel long, as in, or too short. I would say it never feels as it was in Odyssey. In my personal experience, moving from point A to point B in Odyssey felt like a drag. Like sometimes you had to go like 1 kilometer to reach your destination, and that felt pretty boring. In this case, the distances that you have to cover are shorter, and to help you not get bored, not only there's a lot of stuff that can distract you along the way, but also there's this what they call the cinematic camera. So while you are both on your ship and your horse, if you put your ship or your horse on the track to your quest, that is toggled with triangle, I think, on PlayStation, then you have a prompt to activate the cinematic camera. And in that regard, it's sort of like similar to Red Dead Redemption 2 in that you have a more cinematic view of what's happening, so it feels very interesting while your horse or your ship are going to the destination. And especially on the ship, it's interesting because if you activate the Skaldic songs or the ship stories while having the cinematic camera, it's a very let's say compelling experience, because you're listening to the story while having a very nice look at the game world while you're reaching your destination. So it's very entertaining, at least in my opinion. What else? If you choose, let the animals decide how this work. When does it switch between male and female? Hi, Whale. Nice to see you here as well. I don't think I can fully answer that, both because I'm not sure yet, because let's say I can answer by saying, like, if you activate it at the beginning of the game, it will start with female Eivor, and it hasn't switched to male Eivor yet, at least for me. So I'm not sure yet how it works. We have shared a theory about that. I'm not sure if that theory is actually something that's going to happen or not, so I'm not sure whether to mention this on the stream, because if that turns out to be true, I wouldn't like to spoil this for you guys. What are opal ores for? The opal ores, as far as I know, because I haven't developed the building yet in the settlement, the opal ores are sort of like the equivalent of the orichalcum in Origins in Odyssey, in that you can use those in a building in the settlement, where you can, I think, because I haven't tested that yet, you can access some legendary rare weapons and stuff that might be from the store. I can't properly answer that because I haven't tested that yet, so I wouldn't be able to discuss that in detail. But yes, the opal ores are tied to the not even sure, like the microtransaction system slash gear, legendary gear system. Steven Filson is asking if there are Isu temples. I haven't seen any of them yet, but there was something in the very recent gameplay trailer where Eivor was wielding Excalibur, and that's from the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything that's not out there yet. And if you looked at the background where Eivor is wielding the sword, you can see sort of like First Civilization designs on the background. So I would say yes, there might be some Isu vaults and temples. maybe. Who knows? Bye, Craig. Thank you for joining us. Yes. What else? Roman Artifact Collective. This is very interesting. I think in the game, this is a collectible that is not there for itself for you to collect, but the Roman artifacts. Well, obviously they can only be found within the Roman ruins in England, and they are meaningful for one of the settlers. There are one of the people that are in your settlement or will join you in your settlement, and it's kind of interesting because this is sort of like a huge nerd fan of Roman history. And basically, you have to find this Roman artifact within the world and bring them to him, so that they can do stuff. I'm not sure yet what that can be. What we do know, because we have tested that from the preview event, is that this guy who is called Octavian, I think. You don't have to bring. Oh my god! Wow. That was an interesting explosion. You can bring these artifacts, but it's not like you can bring one and there's an interaction. You have to bring 2 or 4 or 5 of them. So there's going to be a lot within the game, and at certain quantities, you will be able to interact with Octavian and obtain stuff. Is nightmare difficulty just more health for enemy, or the AI becomes more alert and active? I would say that the difficulty, at least for what concerns the stealth, because you have a setting at the beginning for the difficulty of the stealth and the difficulty of the exploration and the combat difficulty. For sure, the difficulty in terms of stealth increases. Obviously not the health of enemies, but the way in which they can perceive you while hiding. Like if you are even just slightly off the stalking zone, slightly off the bushes, they might see you. And if you're not actually doing the social stealth activities, which are very much in the game. If you're not there while doing the social stealth activity with the master assassin setting, you will be spotted, or at least they will get very close to you, and soon enough you will be spotted. So that will push you to strategize a bit more in terms of how to move within the red or orange zones. I've seen Smoother Than Silk is asking, I've seen a lot of cosmetics. Can you earn enough silver to buy them all? I think yes, you can. Both because you can find even like silver you can earn not only from the chests but also from defeating enemies, and even just from destroying vases or crates. You can find silver, so you can find silver pretty much anywhere in the world. So you can, all the cosmetics that you can buy with the in-game money, you will be able to buy for sure. While obviously the ones from the store, they will require actual money. So you know. What else? Ginger Ninja, without spoilers, how does Eivor swap genders if you let the animals decide? It hasn't happened to me in the early 20 hours of the game, 15 hours. It hasn't happened in Norway. That's yet to see if that happens in England. Oh, I think we're going to approach a tiny little Easter egg in the dialogue, so well, let's go on with the world event, and we're gonna see a tiny reference to a very old movie. That's from my time. I feel old already, and I'm 34. So yes, there's going to be a dialogue between Eivor. Like, this is a quest that we have seen in the preview event. And yes, so these two guys are trying to feel like Vikings. They say they are sons of Ragnar Lothbrok, but they're not. So yeah. I never heard of Dal and Daller. That's a reference to Dumber and Dumber, which was a movie with Jim Carrey that was from, I don't know, the 90s or something. So yes, there's going to be, and this is like a tiny Easter egg, like all the AC games. The game I would expect to be packed with Easter eggs for sure. We have found already 3 or 4. We're not gonna spoil them for you yet. What else? Could you show us the atlas for the map? I want to see it, please. Yes, I think we can show you the map. This is the map of England, and then yeah, we can show like Wessex in the south. You have Mercia, Northumbria in the north, and East Anglia on the east, obviously. And then with triangle on PlayStation, you can toggle the atlas, and you can move from England to Norway at any time. So once you move to England, you can go back to Norway at any time, as you can see right now. We are on PS4, so the loading time might not be, you know, the best out there, but at least we can enjoy the Animus loading screen, which is here, which is back in Valhalla after having just a loading screen in Odyssey. So that's that. What else? Yeah, well, there was other questions about Isu vaults, if they can be explorable or not. I would say probably yes, as it has been the case for almost every AC game. But that's that. What else? Well, speaking of Isu vaults, or in general, like elements that cater to the hardcore fans, I would say that the game has a lot for everyone. We have seen already, without spoiling this, you might have seen very briefly without like in our menu, and here we are in Norway, by the way. So sorry. This is the map of Norway. There's an area which is basically where Eivor was living before moving to Norway, that is called Ríkjafylke. And there's like this area called Fornberg, which is the village and settlement where Eivor and Sigurd were living. And then we have in the north we have Ordjafylke, which is another area which is much tougher. So we expect that you are going to go back to that area at some point in the game. And yes, Banana Zero, as Iron Mike mentioned, actually there's going to be more than 4 maps. The standard game will have 2 maps well, 3 maps in the historical world, because you will be able to, and again, this is not a spoiler, it has been mentioned during the campaign, you will be able to travel to Vinland, which is North America. And this was done because well, Darby McDevitt, the narrative director, mentioned that basically the first settlement, that the first Norse that reached Vinland, that reached North America, historically they reached it a few decades after the events of the game, but as usual, the developers have been playing with the Order of the Ancients and the Hidden Ones, predating and pre-doing stuff compared to history. So that's why we'll be able to go to North America. And then there will be also 2 more maps in the mythological worlds, and those will be Asgard and Jotunheim. So technically, wow, that pink to violet kind of color palette in the morning in Norway, it feels amazing to me. Like it's so beautiful. And again, this is on PS4, so I cannot imagine how beautiful that looks on next gen, to be honest. So yeah, there's going to be technically 5 maps in the main game, and there's going to be 2 more maps in the DLCs at least. So by the end of next year, we're gonna have at least. Are you gonna jump? There's going to be at least 7 maps. Yes, okay. So Smoother and Silk is asking, gear can be upgraded and enhanced. Will you be able to upgrade absolutely all the gear pieces and weapons, or do you have to pick and choose? I am not sure. It's a question that actually I asked, and I was wondering about that with Sary the other day. Because yes, you can find a lot of ingots and material in the game, but there are so many pieces of gear. I'm not sure if you can find enough materials for every single piece of gear, and I'm not sure. It's kind of interesting, but also not, depending on your view on this kind of stuff. Because yes, this is a stone cairn. So yeah, so basically enhancing your gear at Gunnar's, Gunnar is your blacksmith in the settlement. It makes the gear's stats, but also look change and improve on average. And but you need specific materials for that, and they are scarce. Especially the 2nd and 3rd level of material, they are very scarce and rare. So I'm not sure if there's enough material for every piece of gear, to be honest. Kyle is asking, is there a way to buy weapons with higher stats, or do you have to upgrade them fully to increase their damage and stats? Okay, so sometimes you can find weapons that are already, so basically like gears, and especially weapons, but all kind of gear, they can have, they can be upgraded in that you can improve their stats, and they can be enhanced because there's 4 levels, I think 4 levels of enhancements. So you can find in the world weapons that are already in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th level of enhancement that corresponds to the you can see now like superior braces under Raven Clan bracers. That's the 2nd level of enhancement. I think I improved some. I think that was the. Can you? Let's just go in. Okay, not here. Can you go back in the equipment, like on the hoods, or that was the. Nope, that was in the maybe here. Not here. Okay. Anyway, there's like these. These are all like the red background indicates the 2nd level of enhancement. Then there's a 3rd and a 4th one. So yeah, basically you can find the red pieces of equipment in the game already, or you can find just the like lower tier of items, and then you have to enhance them. And on top of that, you can add runes to these weapons, and basically each level of enhancement allows you to add another rune. So the first level, when you enhance your weapon from the first to the second level, you can add 1 rune, and if you go from the second to the third, you can add 2 runes, and third to fourth, I think it's another rune. Yes, so transmog system, it hasn't returned yet in that you cannot, as far as I know, change the appearance of your items without changing the stats. What you can do for now is removing the visuals of your equipment while keeping the stats. So that's not a proper transmog system, but I would expect, like, this was very, like, transmog was very successful with Odyssey. I would expect that to be back at some point, unless it's already built in the game, which that's also a possibility. Yes, so we're gonna have England, Norway, Paris, Ireland, Asgard, Jotunheim, and Vinland. So that's gonna be 7 maps technically. What else? How long do you expect the main story to be? That's a very tough question, because like in the past we used to ask that to developers when we had the chance to interview them. It's not easy at all, especially since Origins, because the way in which you might play is probably very different from the way in which I might play. In that, for example, I'm a very slow player, not just for side activities, but in general. I get distracted a lot, not just for the main story, but in general. If I see something interesting, I want to take a picture of that, or even just in terms of story, if I see a specific location or a piece of Eden or anything like that, sometimes I stay there to take pictures of that for half an hour or more. So in terms of specific story, I would say, oh yeah, we're showcasing Orlog now, the dice game, where you can choose the god favors that you can use in the game. So what we know is that there's going to be several story arcs in England, and these story arcs, they will last like 2 to 3 hours at least, if not more, if you get distracted like I do all the time. Okay. What? Sorry? Okay. So yes. So yes, I think that there's going to be there's going to be a lot of narrative arcs. Each of them will be 2 to 3 hours long. So it's going to be at least 30 hours in England, maybe less. Plus there's the Norway section, and then I would expect like the ending, and there's going to be 3 narrative threads, because you also have to go and hunt the Order of the Ancients. And then there's, if you're interested in that, you can also do the mythological aspects of the game. And then maybe you can go to Vinland, to North America. So that might change a lot from your like anyone's playthrough and play style. They might influence a lot the number of hours you might require to end the game. So yes.
That is enough.
I think we're gonna go for what? Another 15 minutes? Half an hour? Yeah, let's say we can wrap this up in 15 minutes. So if you have any more questions, that's the moment to ask them. You have seen Norway a bit. Now we're gonna go back to England. What else? How do you get all 4 maps just by playing? Which 4 maps? What else? Odyssey was too easy because of the weapons and the abilities. Yes, like we mentioned, in this case, you're going to have different difficulty settings that I think you can toggle at any time. So if you feel like combat is too easy because you have too powerful skills, you can turn it up, or you can turn it down. Like if you want to power through the game, you can just make combat easy and just go on with it. And each level of difficulty is fine, because I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think this game is like, it has elements for everyone, like literally everyone. Like there's you can play it like super hard or like super easy. There's stuff for hardcore fans. There's story elements. There's a lot of accessibility features for those who might not, for those who might require to use them. I remember even in the past, even if I remember having issues in reading sometimes the text for the subtitles, and you can change that. That was the case for Odyssey already. There's a lot for everyone. You can fight your way through the entire game, or you can stealth your game through almost the entire game, apart from the obvious boss fights. Do you think you will go to Russia? I would say no, even though yes, there have been, like, historically, Vikings have met with well, they have traveled up until the Volga basin, I think. There are references in the comics for Sigurd, who is Eivor's brother, well, quote unquote brother, who traveled to the Dniester Trail, I think, maybe. So there are mentions here and there, I think even in the game, about people traveling to those areas, but I don't think you will be able to go there yourself. Nope, Norway and England are two separate maps. You have to trigger the fast travel from one to the other. How does Valhalla feel to play compared to Odyssey? I would say if you're talking about gameplay, some elements feel similar, but if you on surface, let's say on surface it feels similar, but if you dig into all the gameplay features, there's enough to feel different. And then if you get into the gameplay systems, like in the main systems of the game, then it feels pretty much fresh. Like the settlement itself is really, like, it's really interesting. Like now we are seeing the settlement is like you can pet dogs. It's the best thing ever. This is the settlement at level 2. I think there's 6 levels for the settlement. As you can see, we have built the Hidden Ones Bureau. But there's a lot of tents here and there that you have to upgrade to proper buildings. I think, like, to me as a fan, Valhalla feels much better than Odyssey. Not necessarily in terms of gameplay, that's also the case, especially in the stealth sessions, but also in terms of story, character interaction, the way in which the character is presented to you, and also you connect a bit more, I think, with Eivor than Cassandra, but that's probably different for anyone. I think that the way in which Eivor is established in the game, both within the main story, but also in some areas that you can reach on yourself if you want, and you might even like just miss that. They build up Eivor's character even more, like without saying where it is, but like in Norway, after you do the intro of the game and then you move on to actually playing as Eivor, there is an area which you can explore that dates back to some early times that Eivor has lived still in Norway, and you can dig some more info about her past. So there are elements, like this game has a lot of elements within the world you could miss, but if you find them, they add a lot to the experience, both in terms of gameplay but also in terms of story. So this pushes you to explore even more. Like even if you are just a story fan, you can explore the world and find even more stuff. And like for example, I even like what I was playing the Grant Bridges Shire arc, and there's some sort, like I'm not gonna dig too much into it, but there's some sort of investigations that you have to do in it. Hi James. Hi. There's some investigation that you have to do in there, and the investigation that you have to do to find some sort of like culprit or traitor. The investigation is not necessarily relegated only in the specific area where you start the investigation, which is a longhouse in a city, but to the entire region. So you can go to several different cities or towns and find clues to who the traitor might be, not just in the specific area where you were, not just in the specific city where you were, but also in different towns within the entire region. And you can still find clues in there. So the game really wants you to explore, and you can also not do that. Like you can just decide who you think is going to be the traitor in that specific arc, based on the information that you have. But also you can also decide, I'm not sure, I have to go and see for myself in the other towns if there's more clues that can help me. The game tells you the general random areas, but where you can find clues, but then it's up to you. And when you talk to people, they tell you, hey, there might be clues. Well, not like that, but they kind of mention that there might be more clues in other different towns. So that's very interesting. What would you rate the game from 1 to 10? It's too early. I would say in the first 20... we're going to show some social stealth right now. I miss this aspect so much. This is Lincoln, right? No, this is Leicester. This is like a social stealth playground. I would rate, after playing only like 20 hours, it's already a solid 9 for me. But it could change very much to, I don't know, a 7 or a 10, because I haven't experienced pretty much anything in the game yet. It's like 20 hours feels a lot, and still I think I am just on the brink of finishing the first story arc in England, and there's going to be quite a number of them. So yes, the intro feels very nice and introduces all the story elements, not just Eivor's story, but also the hidden ones, the Order of the Ancients, the Hidden Blade, a lot of stuff already. So it's laying the ground already in a very interesting element. And there is also modern day. Not gonna say where, but there's also in these 20 hours that I played, there's also modern day, and the modern day was very satisfying for what I saw already, and that was sort of like an intro. And usually like the gameplay that you have in the modern day is like what, just might be, if you rush through it, it can be a few minutes. I stayed there about an hour and a half to read all the information and stuff. So if you are a modern day fan, there's going to be a lot of stuff for you, for sure. And I guess we can look, if you guys have a few more information, a few more questions. Otherwise, we can wrap it up in the next few minutes. Yeah, and yes, it's going to be only well, 3 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. Depending on the time zone, we're getting so close to the release. At least for well, all the consoles apart from PS5, I think. Can you wear the hood without the cloak? I don't think so. I think we have seen a lot of fans asking us that. I don't think you can. For what we have tested, both in the preview events and even in the game. The cloak, especially because when you are in the menu, hood and cloak are just one single item. So you can put it on or put it off. Toggle it on and off. And in this case, like the hood has a gameplay element to it. It's not like you put it on because you feel cool, which was already nice in the old AC games. And it's not like it adds stats for you, but also if you put it on, guards, it will be harder for guards to spot you. So it's going to be it also a gameplay element. Smoother than silk. Is there another question about post-launch? Okay. In the post-launch content trailer, content was shown for the first year. Will there be a second year of content? Would it be free? We don't know yet, but if you look closely to some of the frames of that trailer, I think it was for the free content. You can see that the timeline that showcases the free content doesn't stop to what was it, like autumn of 2021, but it's drawn to show that it goes on. So there's a chance, but we don't know for sure, that there might be content for December, or at least end of 2021, maybe beyond that. We don't know for sure yet. Can you recruit allies to call upon, like in Brotherhood? You can recruit the Jumps Vikings, but I'm not sure if you can call them in combat phases. You can have them join in raids, for sure. They can be on your boat, yes. I'm not sure if you can call upon them during combat phases. Carter is asking how big is the map. Sary, can you please show how big? We're gonna show, like, this is England. You saw our zoom out. So we have Northumbria, and there's York, which is like the main city in there. Jorvik, which is going to be like a huge Viking city. Then at the center we have Mercia. On the east we have East Anglia. And then on the south we'll have Wessex with the huge town of Winchester. And the major town will have like will have a lot of ties to the Hidden Ones and Order of the Ancient kind of story and ties. What else? I think, okay, there's another question. How does Eivor feel as a protagonist compared to the Misthios? Like I said, I think they as in male and female Eivor, they feel, to me, this is personal opinion, obviously, they feel much better, not only, sorry guys, but for the voice acting, but also because of the build up to their story. At least for what I've seen in the first 20 hours. So there is, and the interesting part in here is that there is a mystery to who Eivor is, and why there are two DNA streams within a single DNA strand. And so there is a mystery that goes throughout the game. So even after 20 hours, it's not clear the solution to this mystery. So even in that, like this halo of mystery makes Eivor more interesting, in my opinion, than Cassandra. But that's Cassandra or Alexius. But that's my personal opinion. You might enjoy more Cassandra than Eivor, and that's totally fine. And on that note, I think we're running at 1 hour and 30 minutes. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I think we can wrap this up. While we are running and doing free running after bashing it through the stream, and we can show how we can chase a flying paper. And while we did this specific flight paper in the preview event, the controls were much less responsive than this. So hopefully Sary can get no. And I was like, oh my god, I jinxed it so much. Or maybe that was like, it was Sary that was unresponsive. Maybe it was her. I don't know. How can we know for sure? There you go. You did it. All right. Oh, there were some more questions. Okay. Would you personally like to see Eivor's character continued in the future games? I don't know yet. I would have to see their full story to have an answer to that. She/he, they are interesting, but I don't know yet if I'd like to see them in future games. Surely for what I've seen, I'd like to know more, but maybe the game itself will already provide me with all the information that I'd like to know about her. Or him. What is your favorite AC? Oh my god, that's a tough question. I'm gonna go, because I'm like an old fan right here. I'm gonna go and say the world of, like in terms of world, my favorite one is Origins. In terms of modern day, it's a mixture of Brotherhood and Origins. Brotherhood and AC3. In terms of gameplay, that's a tough question. In terms of setting, I'm Italian, so I'm pretty biased. I'm gonna go with AC2. Well, Ezio is in all of our hearts. In mine, for sure, at least. And if you are a fan of Ezio and Ezio's family, I would suggest you, when the stream is over, to go to stay on our channel and look for Ezio's family, the Valhalla version, because it's very touching. Like I've seen a lot of fans saying that they were crying while listening to it. And last question by Infinite: how does the Hidden Blade differ from other games? It feels like the original games in that for most of the assassinations, if you are at the proper power level, you can one-shot kill enemies, and it feels great. Not just because you one-shot kill them, which wasn't always the case in Odyssey. It was very much not the case in Odyssey. But also because there's there are sounds to it. Like you get the shink kind of sound while you do the assassination, like in AC1, and then you do. There's also another, like there's like the stealth feeling is incredible in this game. To be honest, like. There's also another sound that you can do that you can experience while doing the assassinations, and it's sort of like this, sort of like strong thunder that adds gravitas to the assassination, but also makes you feel like, oh my god, like this sound was too loud. Are they going to hear me or something like that? So it adds to the experience, and I'm gonna say that I very much enjoy the quick time event for enemies that are stronger to you, stronger than you when you are trying to assassinate them. It adds to the experience, and it's not like it never feels repetitive because it's very fast. And if you time it right, you feel like you are taking on a stronger enemy, but you still managed to do that. And if you don't want the challenge, or you don't feel like having this kind of quick time event because you're not a fan of that kind of stuff. Oh, look at that. There's Are we going to...
Do you want me to?
Guys, would you like to see a hidden one bureau from the Roman time? If you're okay with this, we can show it. If you guys feel this is what?
If I find it.
If you find it. If you'd like to see it, we can show it before wrapping up. It's an ancient Roman hidden ones bureau. So if I'm not seeing comments, no, please, no spoilers. Okay, let's not go into that. But yes, just to let you know, there's going to be one of the well, we mentioned that in our videos as well. It's not super spoiler because that was part of the preview event. But this one, well, for those who haven't seen it, we're not going to show it. But there is a Roman hidden ones bureau in Leicester. So we suggest you going there if you are a hardcore fan. And on that note, I think we can wrap it up. It's so strange. It's so nice to see so many people joining us. Like this was a test in a way, a test of sorts, because we weren't sure if this would have worked out, the quality of the stream and everything. This is our first time streaming game in general. So I'm actually super happy to see so many people joining us. So guys, thank you so much for being here and for asking all the questions. We try to answer them to the best of our knowledge. I really hope you're going to enjoy Valhalla when it releases tonight/tomorrow, or at the time of release for you guys. And if you have any comments or questions or anything, you can reach us in all of our social media platforms or even here on YouTube. It was so nice to have you on the stream. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the day, and especially enjoy Valhalla when it releases. Bye bye.